Magnus.
Yo, what is up? It's your boy Mini TV here coming at you with another little video. Today I'm bringing probably my hero of the patch, a hero that I personally have been really enjoying this patch, and I think it's fantastic as well. The win rate has gone through the roof on Dota Buff and Dota Pro Tracker as well. So I really wanted to show him to you. It is King Magnus himself. I think the hero fulfills everything you'd want in this patch. And a little side note as well, that the last video I did was about talking about patch 7.27 and like kind of the general aspects of how to play this patch. And I think Magnus is probably the perfect hero for that. Has great tower defense, has good initiation, and can scour really well with his Empower and his RP. Made a little video. It should be around here. I'm putting a link somewhere, so click on it if you want to talk about it and read it and watch it. And without further ado, guys, let's jump into the game. So guys, this is the game. I should tell you that this game is actually a bit of a stomp for us and our team. We kind of wreck them, but it's mainly because kind of our general kind of play style, and it's actually not even to do with our mechanics. It's more about really like our macro side of the game and where we're farming, how we're playing, what item we're going for, kind of thing. We don't really particularly outplay the enemy team. We're just kind of smart with how we play. It's almost we play as this was a pub game. We always play as if we're playing 5-man official competitive games. So just keep that in mind. But I think this game is really important. Even though we do destroy them, actually there's a lot of kind of important things to talk about and to learn from this game actually. So if you're looking to play offlane Magnus and trying to understand how to play it, what to be playing, how to be playing the map, etc., I think this is actually really important because this game highlights all the strength and value of this hero and what you should be doing with it. So I think it's important to know. So to start off with, obviously, I think I actually ended up picking Magnus. No, I did pick Magnus in the second picking phase, which is kind of natural for a lot of the offliners nowadays. And I'm laning with a Dark Willow, so I have a range support, which I think is really nice. You can run double melee with Magnus, but I think for the most part, I think it's best to pair it with a double range because you don't have the highest kill threat with Magnus on this hero. Whereas if you run double melee, you're more likely to kind of look for kills and also to kind of work with your regen kind of thing, which double range can kind of play a regular kind of lane for the most part. So in terms of item builds, this is kind of standard. I do this most games. The one maybe exception is I might have another mango, but I think really you get 2 iron branches for having one less mango, and normally almost every lane I've been watch a lot of pro Magnus players, and they're all kind of maxing in power or at least starting with Empower level 1, so you don't need that much mana regen from the mangoes, so the 2 branches is just a nice extra bit of stats, and you have good base stats already. 63 damage and 3 armor is really nice, and then with the Empower I'm hitting for 76, so really nice starting damage. And like I said, I mean, I'm not really in terms of the draft. Like, just quickly before we start talking about the laning phase, obviously we had picked Ogre. Willow they had shown, I think it was the Lich Tiny or maybe the Lich Earth Spirit, one of the two. But I think this hero shouldn't be scared of almost any kind of support. I know you have like the Rubik as can steal your Empower, or sorry, can steal your RP, I guess, as well as the Empower. But that's not the reason why you kind of play him. So I don't think you need to worry too much about any kind of support picks really. Some carries can be a bit annoying getting out the laning stage, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to rewind quickly because the first kind of wave or two is really important on any kind of hero and any kind of wave you play or lane. Sorry, and the first waves, what we do here is something that's quite important. So obviously I've got Empower level 1. Obviously this is a bit of a bug here. I put it on now, and all I'm really looking to do, particularly right here, is I'm trying to actually drag my creeps into their tower by aggro pulling them, and that's what happens here because now I can end up. The wave will end up pushing, and a level 1 Morphling is actually really weak. Morphling is a really strong laner, but early levels he's really weak. So I ended up getting the aggro pull off there. My creeps run into their tower, and I was still able to get the range creep as well just by right clicking it. Which was nice. So right now I'm allowing my range hero just to hit and kind of zone out the enemy heroes right now because I'm focusing on the CS here. I can't really be doing too much helping him, particularly if if he's in front of my creep wave. Here, however, is a bit different. Like, this is where I kind of want the Willow to be hitting with me, because level 1 Morphling, as I said before, is really, really weak. Lich can't do too much either, but Willow is just kind of doing nothing really there, so that's a small thing, and I take a lot of harassment as a result as well, because I don't want to be missing this CS here. So I end up having to sort of burn a salve there, so a little bit kind of miscommunication from both me and the support there. Like, he was hitting when I wasn't, and I was hitting when he wasn't, so a small thing there. And what I'm doing here, though, is really, really important. So as you can see, I've kind of, first of all, I aggroed the first wave, so my crit wave went into his tower, so it pushed all the way up, but then I'm aggro pulling here as well, which this means that my wave will be lasting a lot longer. So right now we have the level 2 advantage versus the level 1, and I've talked about so much about how weak Morphling is level 1. We're able to kind of really kind of zone him out. So right now, I'm top CS in the game kind of thing, just sent out my magic wand, now we see a Lich kind of out there as well, so he forces himself a TP. Unfortunately, Willow doesn't get the Q off, but he's pulled here as well, which is nice. So even when we did push in the wave, when we had a double wave, we then pulled the hard camp, creep camp, which is perfect. I don't really want to contest because I have a creep wave with me, and they're both level 2 now, so there isn't an advantage for us for levels right now. Plus, Morphling, even though he is level 2, he doesn't want to walk up here, so I should be able to get a whole wave denied, even though he's looking at the hard camp at the moment, or the creep wave here. So I'm able to CS under here. I mean, I might lose 1 or 2 creeps here maybe, but he's losing like almost a whole wave, and it doesn't look like I'm going to lose a creep anyway here for the most part. So I can leave Willow to do whatever she's doing. So in terms of items, I think it's really important to talk about not just starting items, but really the kind of general items that you're looking for. As you see, I'm manning up on the Morphling. He was looking to go for the range creep, and I just started right-clicking the Morphling, so it's a lot harder for him to get the easy last hit. As a result, Willow gets level 3 as well, and I hit the shockwave, of course, because I'm a sick player. And we end up getting a first blood on Morphling. And this is just kind of abusing the fact of Morphling as a really weak laner in the first few levels. When he gets level 3, level 5, it's going to be very difficult in this lane. But right now we can really, really punish him. And again, I'm top CS, got one of the kills as well, so I'm doing really, really good in this lane. Really, really nice start. So going back to items, so in general, I think you want to kind of build your starting items with your understanding of what you're going to be playing in the game. And for me, I think there's kind of 2 main ways to play Magnus right now. Could maybe argue there's 3, but in my opinion, there's kind of 2 main ways, and they kind of do overlap with the third anyway. So the first build is kind of going this right-click DPS build. We saw it last patch when Magnus was quite popular, where you'd even see Magnus carry, but then his Empower got nerfed, but now it's then been buffed again. So I think you can actually run Magnus in this kind of right-click build. Obviously, Echo Saber has been buffed because it builds into something now. So things like that. So Daedalus, Echo Saber, AC, those kind of things that can be built into right click. So if you have a good lane and your team lacks physical presence or physical DPS, that's a build you can definitely go into. The second build that I personally prefer and like playing is kind of playing this utility tanky Magnus that kind of builds the auras for your team. And in this game, we don't have anyone really to build support items / utility / aura items, because we have kind of a mid that needs its own kind of game. We have a jungler to carry, and we don't have any supports really that can build those kind of items. So for me, that's my role, that's my job. And not only that, but as you'll see in this game as well, the items that I go for is kind of the perfect item for the playstyle we want to choose. I want to be kind of defending the towers, because Jug and Tinker both want to get these certain amount of items till before they can really do their job. As Tinker needs travels, Jug probably will go for a Battle Fury, even though he's playing with a Magnus. And now you see, obviously, Morphling's level 3. It's a bit harder to really kind of pressure him because he has that 2 points in the stats now. So we're taking quite a lot of damage. But just going back to the item builds now, obviously I'm buying regen as well. Really important, guys, that you keep buying regen, because if you don't buy regen, your presence in the lane is just kind of so much weaker. So keep buying regen, whether you're offlaner, safe laner, you know, yada yada yada. So yes, talking to the iron build. So I feel like if you were going this kind of carry right-click build, normally the item build is like double bracer, magic wand, as well as a bottle, because then you're building into your power treads for the attack speed, because you need the mana regeneration. But this game, obviously, I know I'm going kind of utility, so I'll probably be building like greaves eventually. But the bracer is still quite nice, actually, even though it kind of got nerfed in general. Bracers did get nerfed. But actually, for this particular moment in the game, braces are actually a little bit better for two reasons. One, the extra 3 damage you get is actually better. And now it also gives a little bit of HP regen as well. Obviously, braces did get a nerf overall, because eventually, and in the mid to late game, you'd prefer the plus 4% magic resist. But in the lane right now, brace is actually pretty nice. So this moment in the game is actually the moment where we start losing this offlane, and it happens to me so much in my bracket at the moment, and it might happen in yours as well. So I'm like the 6.3, 6.4 kind of MMR, and you know, we had a really nice lane here. Like, we killed Morphlin once. You know, I'm farming my brains out, 27-6. And Willow goes and gets the runes, but then he just kind of leaves me completely alone. And now this allows Morphlin to get free farm, also allows Lich to kind of zone me, and I'm not going to be able to really walk up to this creep wave as much and as easy as I can before. Obviously, Willow is going back to base, but this highlights the fact of it's really important to buy regen, because right now Willow could be bot with me, Morphlin's still level 3, we can pressure him, we might not be able to kill him as easily, but we can still pressure him. When this Morphlin gets level 5, it's going to be a lot harder to even CS. But right now I'm kind of 1v2, and as a result, I'm having to use a lot more mana. I'm taking a lot of damage as well, and I'm looking to really pull, because I'm not able to get the farm as easily as I was before, because now Willow's then TP'd mid as well, instead of helping us kind of secure bottom. So I decided to go pull the wave, which I think is the right decision. Perhaps because obviously Lich was also going to pull this creep wave here, and I can't contest him and be in the wave as well, so I have to go and pull. If he doesn't pull here, then maybe I can just wait for the wave to push into me. But unfortunately, I'm not level 5 right now, and then right now, if I was level 5, the thing I'm doing here would be perfect, because I'd have a point in skewer. I know that we've kind of started to forfeit the lane, which I don't understand why we need to forfeit the lane, because I said we've done so well in this lane already. And then Earth Spirit shows up to kind of stop me from doing this. And this is where I kind of get really angry at the Willow. Could have maybe done a better job of dodging that Earth roll now, but you know, Willow spent the last minute and a half really just kind of sitting mid, not doing too much about it. Obviously, Tinker still died to Tiny, even with Willow being mid, and now we're starting to give our kind of threshold and our chokehold on the safe lane. So I'm kind of like really angry about like this whole ordeal. It's still good that even though I died, like, it's still the important play that I make, that play of pulling the wave there, because now when I come back to bot, there's going to be a big wave kind of built up, because Morphlin took one of the waves on the tower, and as you can see, the massive creep wave here. So yeah, it's not ideal. We had a really good laning stage, and then we kind of gave it away for the last few minutes. But I'm still doing good. You know, I died once, but I'm still doing better than the offlane Axe, and I've obviously got this massive creep wave here as well. So I'm just going to try and CS the best as I can. So like right now, obviously with Willow gone, and with Morphlin level 5 now, there's no way we can really kind of contest this Morphlin. The time of us contesting and dealing with the Morphlin is kind of been and gone. Obviously, we killed him once, and we had a good laning stage, but now this Morphlin, you know, I have to kind of forfeit the lane. Willow's not going to be with me. I've tried pulling once already, and it's kind of cost me a death. So now I'm just going to force to go back to farm jungle, really. As a result, I kind of buy a value Morbid Mask. It's definitely something that I wouldn't normally do if we were just contesting the lane as normal. Maybe I'd be building into Arcane Boots or into more of those tanky utility items such as like the Vanguard. But because I'm going to be hitting jungle creeps for a while, I build up the Morbid Mask, and I will be using it for Vlad's. Really important item, like particularly if you're playing with a melee carry, which normally you will be as a Magnus. The Vlad is just so useful because of the extra damage you can amp up from your carry. So my real job right now in the lane is just to really defend my tower, and also to kind of get any XP and gold that the Morphlin will push into me. And that's kind of what he wants to do, obviously, because he wants to push in the wave, get all the farm from the creep wave, and then go farm this hard camp and small camp, and rinse and repeat. And that's kind of why I'm going to be playing bot, farming the jungle when I can. I think Ancient's probably a little bit too difficult and too strong for me right now. So I'm kind of just cycling between the hard camp and my tower whenever it gets pushed in for me. Obviously pushing in, maybe stacking whenever I can as well. Tiny starts roaming onto the Tinker, but there's no way we really kill him. If I had a point in Skewer, maybe I could RP Skewer into the tier 2, but I don't, so I'm just going to have to do the best I can, really. So I'm just going to fast forward here because it's just kind of the play style I've told you about, really. There's no point me TPing top or TPing mid. I don't have the items for it, and I don't really have the hero for it either. I've maxed out in power and stuff. I don't have skewer, so the best thing I can do really is just kind of keep the status quo and keep farming, which is fine. So many times I see lower offlane players who just seem to, they don't have the best time in the offlane. They just start trying to rotate mid or safe lane, when really they don't need to. Let your supports do that, let your supports do that, so that my Tinker and my Jug can kind of farm and carry, as they're doing, kind of thing. So building Vanguard now, like I said, I just want to be in that fat, strong, tanky mess. And when I have the Vanguard is the moment where I can kind of just sit in front of towers. There will come a time, and it's starting to look like that as well, where Jug is struggling top a little bit. Obviously Axe is a nice counter against Jug, and even with our supports being around there, obviously Lich has rotated from bot now because he knows that Morph is kind of self-sufficient. Jug is having a little bit of a hard time as well, so when I can get this Vanguard, then I can just really defend top and mid tower almost by myself, which will then delay the game so that Tinker and Juggernaut can farm. I've got my Vanguard now. Obviously, you saw Ogre and Willow kind of position themselves bot, which is really just an inefficiency because there's no way we can make a play bottom onto the Morphlin. And as you can see, all I'm doing really is defending my tower and trying to keep my farm up as much as possible. So right about now is when I definitely want Jug to come bottom, because so for a few reasons. So firstly, and probably the main reason why I told this Jug to go bottom is that firstly Juggernaut has just used his ultimate top, so the kind of kill threat that Juggernaut now offers with his Omni Slash against Axe is now gone. And not only that as well, but he just kind of wants to be on the safest part of the map, which actually at the most and the main part is kind of me, where I am at, where I'm farming the triangle and also defending this offlane tower. The enemy team, Radiant here, don't really want to take this tower, so they're not going to put a lot of resources into it. And also this is the safest part of the map as well, because it's hard for them to kind of really penetrate. We have a ward up here as well. Whereas me, on the other hand, I kind of want to be in a somewhat dangerous and risky position for a few reasons. One, because I'm tanky enough now because I have the Vanguard, and I also have spells to threaten the enemy team if they go on me, because I have Skewer, I have RP, so if I want to move up with the supports, I want to be playing against enemy heroes, whereas now I'm not really playing against enemy heroes, I'm playing against a Morphlin, which we just simply can't kill. So I definitely want to swap positions with the Jug. He can TP bottom, I can empower him, he can farm the Ancients, because they're weak enough for him, but probably a little bit too strong for me. So they have a pause here, and I sort of tell my Jug to TP bottom, and that's what we do. So I'm just going to fast forward here. So right now, obviously, look, it's 12 minutes in, and I said this game is a stomp, and it actually is a stomp. But right now, the laning stage went kind of even for both teams, and they're getting as much out of it as we are as well. But when we make this rotation with the Jug and me, and allow Tinker to start farming up, he's got his travels now as well. So not only is the enemy team going to struggle to take towers because I'm the tanky fat sort of person sitting in front of them, but they also have Tinker to deal with. And this is something that I talked about in the patch video I made a couple of days ago about how I think the Dota is kind of starting to be played now, where you have a bit more of a greedy kind of perspective on things, where the offlaner wants to defend towers, so it allows the mid and the carry to keep on farming, and that's what we see here in this game. Obviously I'm going to be sitting in front of towers and mid, and if they kind of commit on me, then I'm hoping my supports will TP in as well as the Tinker, and we can really do some damage and kind of force the enemy team into a bait and a kind of a bad position, because they don't have the strongest push. All they really have is kind of catch and kill threat, but with kind of smart play in terms of where what heroes are playing where, they're going to struggle to do that. Tinker's playing off map, Jug is playing off map for the most part. I'm the only one really showing, because the best play they can make really is in this top lane, the enemy team. But I'm here now. I went to level 10 talent with 200 health. I'm pushing out the wave as much as I can, and then also farming the jungle. I'm 2 levels above the X as well, so I don't really feel threatened by him. And this is just kind of my rotation right now. Jug is farming the triangle, supports are sort of taking some experienced bot as well. So really, the only people that I'm going to be threatened is either me, or it's going to be to the supports here as well. Morphlin's AFK for a little bit. He does come back, but we get a little bit of an advantage there as well. But as you can see, this is the rotation. Clear out the wave, go to the hard camp, clear the wave again, clear the small camp, rinse and repeat. And by doing this, it just increases my farm efficiency, but also makes it harder for them to kind of catch me in terms of timing, because I'm only in the lane for like 5 seconds. And this is perfect for me. And just by doing this, I'm top net worth. Obviously, I had a really good start, but then Willow left me, and I had died. But right now, I'm top net worth basically. And this is just by playing the right part of the map. Obviously, yeah, Ogre dies, but does that really affect the win condition? Does that affect the game? No, it doesn't. So we carry on doing this. And all this time, we're giving more time for the Tinker to get his Blink, to get his Aether, Jug to get his Yasha and his Battle Fury. And you've got to think as well is that we also farm faster than the enemy team. So if nothing happens, this is a good thing for us. I'm taking the bounty runes to deny it from the enemy team. And this is kind of what happens really for the next few minutes. And just for these few minutes, you remember we were behind, if not even, and now we're 2,000 gold ahead. And this is just because we're playing the right parts of the map, and being smart with what we're doing. So I finished my Vlads, max out my Shockwave and my Empower, and now starting to build into a Blink Dagger, still by doing the same thing, not really doing anything fancy. They go on me here, and I've got my Vlads now, we get a nice TP. I only get 1 in the RP unfortunately, but this is exactly what I was talking about. They want to go on me top, and when they do, my team's going to rotate, and we're going to kill them, and we're going to punish them for that, and this is just perfect. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's an ice cream van outside, and he's also singing my praises because we're playing, correct Dota basically, or Dota 2, as you Americans would say. And just with that, I'm now top net worth. And then there's no real reason to sort of change to do that. I'm TPing mid now, because I've just pushed in top. Axe is dead as well, so now if Axe goes top, I can see him with the ward, and if they want to start pressuring top, I can just run back top. But I'm thinking they're going to make a play mid, so I'm going to put my body, because that's where I want to be. I'm that tanky guy. I want to be playing where the enemy wants to play. So I make a read that they're going to play mid. I go mid. Where does Axe go? He instantly comes there. Tiny's here as well. I get a skewer back onto both of them, and we end up doing the same thing as I talked about. I'm that tanky frontliner who's going to just kind of bait the enemy team and force them to go on me. We end up killing the Lich, we also kill the Morphling, and we kill the Tiny. And I tip the Axe because that's kind of the play I want him to make. Because looks what's happened. Where we're actually, you know, so many times in Dota you hear it in cast, you see it in, you hear it in pro games where it's like, oh yeah, like this team needs to make plays, like play aggressive, like, because that's how you get in a lead, how you get an advantage. But this game here, I'm not making plays per se. Like, I am making a play in the sense that I'm doing something, but that something is kind of playing passive and waiting for the main team to make a move onto me. And look how it's working out because of my item build, because of what I've told my team to be ready for. And because of that, you know, 3, 4, 5 minutes ago, we were even on net worth. Now we've just taken the tier 1 mid. We're now 6k up again, like they're trying to go on me. They're feeling a little bit disjointed, and we also kill an Earth Spirit. And, you know, Magnus is one of the best heroes because of this. He's tanky because he's a strength hero. He has good initiation, and when they jump on you, you have Skewer as well, which then forces them even more out of position. So they might blink dagger onto you, and then you can force them out of position even more. And all the while, I'm getting so much farm. I'm like being the carry for my team, even though I'm playing in the off lane. And this is why I wanted to show you this video, because it's such an important thing, and really it's not too difficult once you understand the mentality and the playstyle of how to play this hero. Obviously, you know, some games you do want to switch up on how you play Magnus. Maybe it's a more of a right-click carry, so you know I won't have the Vanguard, I won't have the Vlads, I won't have the Dragon Scale. But for the items that we've gone and the items we've done, it's perfect. You know, we've taken the tier 1 mid. We're now rotating as a team to tier 1 bottom. All very standard stuff. And this is just kind of the formula of how to play Dota. Like, so we take the early tier 1 mids. Yeah, Tinker was defending top by himself, gets kind of punished by the Tiny. But now, obviously, our next objective really is Roche. You know, keeping mid and top kind of pushed out, so the enemy will rotate. And then when we see an opportunity either to fight or just to walk into Roche, because I've got the items, I'm tanky, I've got Vlads as well, we can take Roche whenever kind of we want to. And this is just about kind of smart item choices, and also about just kind of keeping lanes pushed out. You know, if lanes are pushed in, there's tower pressure. There's more information for the enemy team to make plays, to make calls. And with that, that's when it starts to become difficult. And that's why really, you know, Dota is a game about lane management. You know, you hear it from the pro players like CCNC about, like, you know, you shouldn't be hitting neutral keeps. You know, you should only be hitting lane creeps until you understand how to play Dota, and that's kind of the mentality of, like, you know, lane creeps are super important. And when you have a hero like Magnus that just kills creep waves in 2 or 3 hits, you know, it makes the game so much easier. You know, the Earth Spirit starting to try to make plays by himself because he doesn't really know what to do. They've tried, you know, killing me. They've tried keeping it, but right now they're forced into bad plays, into bad positions because they don't know what to do. All the while, really, when we're not doing anything too spectacular. I've got Blink now as well, so this is just going to help my initiation. I think for sure you need a mobility item on Magnus, whether it's the Falstaff or the Blink or something like that, to really make you useful, because obviously playing passive and waiting for the enemy team to go on you is fine and all, but when we want to make a move, when we've built up that net worth advantage, you do need a mobility on item to on nag to really feel strong and to feel useful, really. So it's important that you get that. Obviously, I'm building into Greaves as well, kind of, again, just kind of fulfilling that utility kind of support role. Again, you know, we are losing heroes on this, as I, again, kind of, I mean, that morph is a bit of a, probably wasn't expecting that, but just kind of just utilizing the items I have and the build I have. So again, I said we lost the Ogre. We are losing heroes, but it's on the heroes that don't mean anything because our core heroes are doing the right thing. You know, Jug's playing the right part of the map, Tinker's doing the right thing, I'm playing the right thing. So it doesn't really actually matter if our supports feed. And this is sometimes you always hear, you know, if you're in the lower ranks, like, oh yeah, my supports aren't doing anything, all they're doing is feeding. Sometimes, you know, that won't actually change the game. If the cores are playing the right part of the map and doing the right things, it doesn't actually matter if your supports are dying. And just with that, obviously, I've got mech now. We have all the items we need. And with Morph being dead as well, Tiny shows bottom, we can just walk into Roche. And there's nothing the enemy team can really do about it. We're 9k up. You know, Axe is going to try and pressure. With that, you know, Morph TP'd bot, Tiny is TP'ing top now, but like, this is us kind of forcing the enemy's team hand. You know, being this far up as well. You know, they were coming in probably not in a great. No one saw that, by the way. You know, I hit an RP. It was a 5-man. It was perfect. But this is what I'm saying. Like you don't necessarily. Like, I don't play this perfect mechanical game where I'm hitting these 5-man RPs and like I do these crazy things. I'm playing a standard game really on Magnus. But it's the mentality and the mindset and understanding of what I need to do that makes me have a good game this game. It's not that my crazy mechanic skills, like I'm like artsy and I've got like 600 APM. It's not that. That's not what makes me win this game. It's not what makes me play good in this game. It's kind of the mentality and what I'm doing and my own choices and stuff. That's what makes me play good here. So we have Aegis now. And Tingle was sort of tipping back to base. I don't have RP because I wasted it, obviously. So we are in a little bit of a dangerous position. We don't want to kind of overcommit too much. But when they commit, obviously, a lot, I'm just kind of again trying to zone out. The enemy team as the X jumps in. So again, I'm not really making a big initiation. I'm waiting for them to make an initiation, and then I'm punishing it if it's not a good one. And again, I'm here with the mech, I'm here with all the tanky items, and at this point, we're 13,000 gold up, and it's only 23 minutes, and mind you, at 10 minutes ago, we were even on net worth. And it's just like, there was a period in this game where, we looked like we were doing nothing, but we were actually doing a lot, and we were playing to a timing, let me get this item, let Tinga get that item, okay, Jug's doing this. When we have these items, then we can do that. We're not just kind of aimlessly keeping up the pressure, keeping aggressive. We're calculated in our moves and our understanding of what we should be doing and when. Once we've got these items, yes, now we can keep our keep the acceleration up, keep the pedal to the metal, keep the gas on kind of thing. But before then, it was very passive. So it's like very moments of passivity, and then once we get the Aegis, once we get the items we need, we're just going to full stop, keep running at them so that they don't have any other choice other than to either fight us or to get picked off one by one. We've pushed in top, we've pushed in mid, and Morphlin shows bot, and we smoke and just run at him because there's nowhere else he can be because he's TP'd bottom. And just like that, we catch him and we kill him, and it's like this is just how it is. And you can be doing this in your games, if you're playing a hero like this Magnus kind of thing, if you just kind of talking and telling your team like what to be doing, like they will listen to you. This isn't complicated stuff. It's just doing the right things. And now 15k up, 25 minutes. Now the game is very, very simple. Now we can kind of do whatever we want. I'm building into an abyssal blade. Like this is the times where it's like it doesn't matter too much what happens, and for the most part the game is kind of already over unless we do something like really, really, really stupid, obviously. And right now we're just looking to get any pick off we can. If they show outside of base, we're just going to run at them and try and fight them when we can. Willow gets kind of caught out. I get like a skewer onto him, but because we're so far up, we can still kind of just jump into him. Making sure I'm always empowering my carry. That's really, really important. And obviously now I've got my Greaves, I've got everything, like we can kind of man up and just do whatever we want. And even if we're overcommitting, it doesn't matter because of the items and the fun we have. And this is just kind of what makes Magnus so strong. I'm just the buff bot for my carry. I'm gonna let my Juggernaut just be an absolute beast in this game. I went the 10 strength at 15. I could go the +8 armor as well, but I really like the skewer range because you'll see here as well, like, I don't know, the game's kind of already over, so I don't really need to do this, but in closer games as well, some skewer plays, blink skewer plays can be really, really nice and set up some free kills that you wouldn't normally have. It's kind of, and that's why I love Magnus. It's kind of almost like you're playing with a Pudge as well because of you have the hook capabilities and the hook presence just with blink alone. And you'll see it here when we kind of finish off a few kills. So I really like the skewer range because it does, it almost doubles it. It goes from like 1,100 to 1,600. So really, really good talent in that respect. Plus, I've got the Dragon Scale as well, so I don't really need the armor. So right now, I'm kind of positioning myself just over here, looking for a skewer if I can. Get a skewer on the Morphlin, and it's like, you know, he's having a very, very sad game. I didn't have any more tips left for the Morphlin, so we just had to kill his base instead. And that's just kind of it, really, for the most part, guys. Hopefully you've learned something from it, because this is probably one of my most informative videos, really, even though it was kind of a bit of a stomp. Just a few things as well. Again, we get a nice RP into skewer here. So in terms of other items, obviously, say this game is a bit closer, I would probably be building into either the Crimson or the Shivas, or maybe the AC. Just any kind of aura that would either make my team do more damage or make the enemy team do less damage, and any kind of aura items. Shadowblade is definitely something I want to talk about. I think, you know, if you're a hero that really needs to be getting these big RPs, you know, you need a Shadowblade. You might even need a 4-staff because you need it for the positioning. And obviously, if the enemy team sees you, even if you have a blink, it's going to be very difficult to hit those RPs. Whereas if you have a Shadowblade, it's a lot harder for them to do that. Obviously, I didn't really talk too much about the kind of carry build for Magnus, but me personally, I'm not a big fan of it. But, you know, any kind of carry items can be useful on the Magnus. The Daedalus, the Orchid, you know, the Satanic, the AC. I think you still need a blink, to be honest, even if you play this kind of carry style of mag, because your hero just offers so much more. Obviously, the blink skewer plays, the blink RP, you farm faster with it as well. So yeah, guys, hopefully that was somewhat informative. If you did like it, please give it a like, a subscribe, a comment, all that jazz, because it really does help. I'm closing in on 2,000 subscribers, and it would mean a lot if you could help me out with that goal, guys. So without further ado, guys, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, guys, peace. Keep keybinding and grinding. Ciao.
By the gleam of my horn.